德玛西亚视频站，视频背景音乐、选手主播天赋符文、隐藏分查询，就在王者学堂。还等什么？赶快扫描微信二维码，关注我们微信吧！喜欢猫咪的你，就来关注我们微信吧。
Those moves and they don't, they might be in trouble.
Yeah, and here we are straight into the draft phase for game 1 of this quarterfinal, and the Chiefs come out with a Nidalee band and Cinder band on the side of Longzhu. No surprises there, followed up by Jace for the Chiefs.
You definitely do not want to let Chaser get his hands on Nidalee.
And for now, we see the pattern that we also saw in the games earlier in the day, playing it safe here and the standard bans.
It is actually fairly interesting that Jace was banned from blue side as opposed to one of the staple bans on the red side. I know that Swiper can play Jace. Swiper's champion pool is rather unique in that, again, all of the Chiefs play all of the really up-to-current meta picks. Swiper does have some pocket picks of the Aurelia and the Illaoi in particular, but they don't necessarily fit into the meta right now, so it's just kind of a curious question. Oh, he's hovering Tryndamere. That's his pocket pick. He'll do this every time.
And Illaoi, the other one.
Thank you, Big Swips.
Probably might see like a Karma first pick. It was banned throughout the series beforehand, and it's just a solid flex pick that you can have on the blue side, that you can hide things till the very end and force Longzhu to really reveal their hand.
Yeah, still hovering it. The jungle is also a little bit pinched with the Olaf and the Nidalee bans coming there. We'll see how they have to, or how they will adapt to that. Are we still being teased by that? Illaoi probably not going to come out in the first game in this series.
I expect that it would be a Karma priority. Fun fact though, if they lock it in, EGM absolutely hates Karma.
It's not a very rewarding champion in terms of if you're a highly mechanical player for you to be hitting tethers.
And there with the jungle pool a bit pinched, are going to go for Elise as a first pick for Spooks.
So again, really trying to target out Chaser there makes a lot of sense. He definitely has a reputation to fear, but that does mean that the Ashe is open in response. Again, Jin's been banned out, so Ashe is the other big priority pick.
And good for EGM, they picked the Karma away, so he won't have to play it, and the utility AD carry in Ashe.
But she's still such a powerful pick, and Longzhu's quite happy with this because Lee Sin is still up. They're going to be able to just easily pick that, put it into whatever composition that they want, and it's going to make a whole lot of sense because that means it's an incredibly deadly combination of support and jungle when you couple that with the Ashe arrow that can come out of nowhere.
This also 100% means that Raze will probably go towards his Caitlyn pick. He also does occasionally like to pick Ezreal into it, but he is a Caitlyn main known on Oceania.
Yeah. If we look at that bottom lane as well, did there anything change in the composition of the team? EGM, does he have a little bit more freedom now? Can he leave that lane more, and will they pick to that?
Yeah, it is part of Chief's success that he does prioritize Moby Boots before Sightstone typically, so look for him to be a big roaming support. The problem is across from Karma and Ashe, especially if Raze goes towards his Ezreal, is that they're just going to shove you in, and it's going to be so much harder for EGM to find that space to engineer and manufacture plays across the map.
And that's the problem, right? They can shove in through bottom lane so much and just spill into the mid lane because Ezreal, once he bases that power trough of that tier, is not going to do him any justice. He's not going to be able to push the wave as fast as the Ashe that is going to be building that flat DPS. And so if Longzhu is able to get their game together and really group as a unit, they're going to have such an amount of power in the bottom lane now that they have Victor just 2 lanes that can shove non-stop with an incredibly aggressive jungler.
And as you guys predicted, the Lee Sin coming out as well to further that comp from Longzhu. So now what is the answer, and what holes do they need to patch up for the Chiefs?
Again, like Crumbs was saying, just the power trough issue with Ezreal in the bottom lane, the fact that it's going to keep EGM locked down. They need something that's pretty strong on the top side of the map, or they just need some sort of window that they can play to, because right now, bottom's in quite a hole to dig out of.
And the danger is that Longzhu has set themselves up so well. They have counter pick for top side, which means that anything that the Chiefs throw at them, they will be able to have a pushing advantage. So they go out with the Nami to kind of mitigate some of that, make sure that you have a lot of early skirmish power with Ashe or Ezreal and Nami, which they can fight very well early on, but unfortunately it's quite dangerous and susceptible to being ganked, especially if Longzhu decides to put all their eggs in the bottom lane basket.
Ooh. However, going towards the Tahm Kench, once again, that's now 3 picks for Tahm Kench in the support role today in the tournament.
Kinch getting so popular on 6.21. Definitely a pick that I didn't see coming.
He's really good against the Ashe, so there is that.
Repositions against the
and the Lee Sin,
Enchanted
anybody
Arrow.
that gets kicked or really gets singled out by these heavy displacements or CCs, Tahm Kench will be able to really protect.
I feel like the issue is like they're looking at this like bottom lane's already lost. Let's just try to like it's almost even worse at this point.
I love the Longzhu draft by comparison to the Chiefs, but ultimately they do have a lot of windows of winning team fights here with just such a heavy amount of crowd control, and you never really can count out compositions that have great scaling, CC, and damage.
And finally, the Echo is rounding out the comp from Longzhu up versus that Poppy. How will that matchup steer the rest of the game?
Longzhu have everything that you would want on a composition, just as Crumbs just said. Great bridges of power. They're never weak at any point in the game. They have so much CC. Their setup is amazing. Echo versus Poppy is, I mean, that's the classic matchup. We're just going to watch it go back and forth, but there is still kill potential there because it is a Lee Sin in the jungle.
Yeah, and it just seems like you guys are very positive about the Longzhu team composition that they have brought out here. Can I get some predictions for the series? We forgot to do it in the beginning of the day, but...
Well, I think my predictions will be Longzhu going 2-0 into this, although Chiefs comp makes sense, right? It's good. It's got a lot of pick potential. You have Cocoon, you have Poppy against the wall, Orianna, Tahm Kench. They're definitely able to do a lot of work here. If mid lane and AD Ezreal are able to get out of laning phase relatively even, I think that they have a good shot of making a good fight in the mid game.
But that's the key thing, they get out of laning phase. Can the Chiefs survive long enough to make use of that pick potential on the kit?
That will be the key. We'll see what happens. We're going to get into game one and meet our casters for Chiefs versus Longzhu. Game one.
Thank you very much, Jacques. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 1, Longzhu Gaming versus Chiefs. I am Seth Achilles King. Joining me is my cohort and good friend, Christopher Papa Smithy Smith from the LCK as well. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I might be representing the LCK from the casting desk, but obviously as an Australian, as a Chiefs fan, my allegiances here really are torn. Longzhu come in favorites, but the Chiefs, they've been waiting for this moment for a very long time, as is the sign apparently. Yeah. So it's a big story for them. Both these teams have played on the international stage before in top flight tournaments, but for the Chiefs, December 2013, it was the WCG 2013 that they actually played against players. Lust Boy was in that lineup, now coach of Longzhu. You've also got Emperor was AD carry in that game. He's also on the squad, not here though, in Oakland, and Flame on the bench. Then you look on the side of Longzhu, under their previous name Incredible Miracle, last played international at the IEM World Championship in March of 2013. So both these teams a long way. Now we can finally see them on the Rift.
Yeah, here we go. Loading already into game one. Chiefs looking like they're going to go ahead, shove 5-man straight down this bottom lane. Might be looking for a little bit of a cheesy pick at the beginning of the game like we saw in that UOL INTZ series. Didn't find that first blood initially, but Chiefs looking like they're going to operate for that. Fury and Pure are rotating down to the bottom with Frozen in tow, getting some of those deep wards. They're going to try to not get caught out by this trap, but we'll have to see what happens.
Getting vision on the second brush is so important. Longzhu was slow to get into lane, but Fury knows he has to respect the vision in these two brush. We already saw INTZ go way behind in one of the series, the first of the day, so Longzhu not going to make the same mistake.
Yeah, just going to be sitting here. Frozen sticking by just in case somebody wants to walk up the river to try to get a ward. Perhaps onto that ramp near the blue buff, but looks like it's just going to be Chiefs backing off. The recalls come through, and everybody will just be going to their standard lanes.
So people might be wondering, why do we see this arms race to rush to bot lane as fast as possible? The big story is about prepping the minion lane and bot. If you know where the AD carry and support are, you know if they're starting Krugs, you know if they're starting the Gromp. You also know if they're trying to get into the second brush to auto-attack down the first minion wave. Not necessarily kill it, but give them the flexibility of either pushing or going and getting a camp. So you need that information, and that's why we see so many people entering the bot lane early. But for this game, not going to be any conflict over it.
Yeah, not yet. Just going to be standard lanes coming out here. Of course, the lane swap, not really something that we have seen for quite some time. It's been put in the ground 6 feet under quite some time ago. It's just going to be Frozen and Swiffer in the mid lane duking it out with that Orianna and Victor matchup. How do you think we're going to see that one going?
It's going to be a farm fest, realistically, in the mid lane. But the draft, I think, was really interesting. The analysts hit on it very well. To me, the only real misstep from the Chiefs, I like the 5 champions they put together, but reaching for the Elise as first pick, given how we saw a series with no jungle bans, to me, that was kind of the first misstep, because you let the Karma go over to Longzhu. They very frequently flex the Karma. It's been actually the highest win rate champion for Frozen in the mid lane. Going to be the support this time, but Pure also picks it up as well, and they get the Ashe. When you ban Jhin on blue side and don't first pick Ashe, I just think that's a little bit of an oversight.
Yeah. a lot of matchups that we want to keep our eyes on, especially with the Chiefs, to see how they're going to perform on this international stage against a Korean team. But one that we really have to look out for is going to be Chaser moving around on this Lee Sin. Has not played on the roster since July 8th of this year. It's been quite some time. Crash has come in. Longju were on a massive losing streak, 10-game loss. Crash comes in, and then suddenly they go 10-7 in their next 17 games. So it was a good transition, but as we saw Crash in the Kespa Cup just a couple weeks ago, hasn't been working out so well. So we'll see how he's gonna do. Chaser gonna find Spooks in the river, takes a hell of a lot of damage from that, at least as he lands the cocoon, but the laser beam comes over, flash over the wall by Frozen. Up in the air with the repel, Swiffer here to try to offer what little he can. The flash away by Spooks might just take him out of range enough. Spooks getting slowed up. One more hit by Frozen will do it. There it is. First blood coming in for Longju. Swiffer is able to answer a kill onto Chaser. He has to flash away, gets the shield on himself just in time to keep himself alive. Frozen gets a hell of a lot of damage and will have the pressure in this lane now that he has the double buff.
Yeah, the double buff is so big as well. He can just use his E, even though he doesn't have the first augment, to keep the push going on Swiffer. Swiffer has a red buff of his own, so the auto attack trade's going to be pretty similar for the two. But the story there is that even though Spooks and Swiffer have that synergy, who played on multiple pro teams together for over 3.5 years, it was still Swiffer second to the push. We still saw the push coming in from Frozen, first to the skirmish, with the double buffs going over. It's a pretty heavy price to pay for the Chiefs.
Yeah, going to be a little bit of a rough start there. That first blood going in onto the Victor. It's really going to fast track him, get all of his augments taken care of, and then he can start building up his item inventory. We'll see what Chiefs can do to rebound here, but the kill over onto Swiffer is also going to be quite nice for that Orianna.
One awkward fact, though, is because of the first augment going up to 1250 gold, the back comes in from Frozen, didn't have the 1250, could only buy the CDR boots and also, you know, the potions, the pink ward, hasn't got the first augment, so the wave pushing that can really punish a pre-level 9 Orianna won't start till later in the game. So the double buff's still going to be a frustration, but doesn't have to deal with that augment.
Looks like we're going to have a little bit of a tussle in this bottom side. Spooks yet again going low Fury, trying to fire out as best as he can to confirm that kill, but the Devour comes through from the top catch. Ejim will be keeping his jungler alive. Just going to be Arcane Shift forward. Ray's not going to be able to find anything, as long as you're not able to come up with the kill, but still going to be shoving Spooks back yet again.
And the story of the jungle position in particular for Longju is one that we kind of have to discuss, because if you watched a lot of Korean League of Legends in 2015, the names Coco and Chaser were right up there. Coco was considered the second best mid laner next to Faker, I guess Easy Hoon as well in 2015, and Chaser was might have even been the best jungler in 2015, but Chaser was not the tonic to success on Longju. Neither was Coco for that matter. We haven't seen Chaser in many months. I believe it was July, you were saying to me before the cast, the last time we actually saw Chaser play a competitive game, and the numbers didn't lie. With Chaser, Longju in summer was 6 wins, 17 losses. With Crash, who came in after that fact, they were 10-8. So this team that struggled at the bottom of the table came back with Crash in the lineup. But if you call it the Kespa Cup, you know, in the preparation, this is what we watched very closely, Crash had an off series. Chaser is known as a voice in shot calling, specifically in the late game. He's there to try and level up the late game, which for Longju has been haphazard at best for the longest time.
Yeah, well, it was Crash and Frozen coming in pretty much at the same time as a more permanent figure on the team. Both Chaser and Coco have not played on the roster since that July 8th figure, so it's going to be interesting to see how Chaser's going to keep moving forward here.
He's been greedy here. He stayed when his AD carries back.
Yeah, that's going to be the cocoon coming in. A huge burst of damage. Spooks taking the turret. He's going to be fine. Still has the repel, and that's going to be a quick and easy kill picked up for the Chiefs.
It's just greedy to stay in lane when your AD carry recalls. I guess he was hoping for maybe a little bit more gold to get a pink ward with something like a Sightstone or boots too, but well punished by the Chiefs, and certainly not overawed by the situation. Not ahead in gold. They do have that nice kill advantage, so already closer touching distance than INTZ had in the first series.
Yeah, it's a nice little reprieve picking up that second kill, but you can see the CS discrepancies coming out in all lanes, and the jungle is going to be hurting the Chiefs quite a bit. 51 to 43 in the top, 23 to that 14 in the jungle, and then this big one, 13 CS up for Frozen in the mid lane. So hasn't been able to get the augment yet, but with the way that he's farming, he's going to be able to have a really nice meaty purchase on that next back.
Chiefs finally making that appearance at an international event. A lot of comfort on the side of the Chiefs. The Poppy was definitely expected. Poppy and Kennen, those are the expected effective champion pull from Swiper. Expression plays Echo at every chance he gets, and I like the Echo pick here. A lot of people probably watching the job to home like, what about the Trundle, you know, to absolutely steal away the stats from the Poppy, split push against the Poppy. But there's something to be said for comfort for a player like Expression, but also just the fact that Orianna's all about wanting to have that locus of control, you know, be able to put the ball on one of her teammates, shield her teammates, doesn't want to be impeded. Echo is one of the best diving champions to get in the face of specifically Orianna, because of course Ezreal, a very slippery AD carry, and try and stop Swiffer from being the quarterback of this Chiefs team, as he is so often served just as a person, let alone as a player. And he's picked the Orianna to be that quarterback, and it's Expression's job to trivialize the Orianna.
Yeah. We'll see how that's going to envelop as we keep moving forward through this game. Of course, Expression, he's just going to be building his standard, has that Sheen as the first item with the Corrupting Potion, and now with the Dark Seal, so going to be stacking that one up. Doubt we're going to see it get turned in. Actually frozen there with the mid lane, going to get Command Shockwave straight into the Cocoon. Well executed gank there by Spooks, and that's another kill now on the board for the Chiefs. It will be Spooks walking away with the killing blow, and you can see Chaser arriving just too late to counter that gank.
Speaking of arriving, the mechanics super on point from the Chiefs. The Chiefs actually arrived and boot camped in North America a week ago. We were actually on the same flight as Longzhu very late in the week, so they would have only had a couple of days to adjust, both to the big time zone difference. I think we worked out about 17 hours between here and Korea, and just, wouldn't have had a lot of time to scrim or practice in North American conditions. The Chiefs are looking practice, razor-sharp mechanics from Swiffer and Spooks.
Yeah, looking really good so far, despite the fact that the gold is still tied. Chiefs with that kill advantage. Looking pretty strong at the moment, but need to just spill over this CS, because if they had these kills in that CS, the gold lead would just be monstrumental for them right now.
Monstrumental.
I'm inventing words. It'd be that big that I can invent a new word.
Hashtag IEM on
Hashtag IEM monstrumental. Chaser gonna go in, it's not gonna land that Sonic wave, but here comes the Ash Arrow. Nice reaction by Swiffer. We'll be able to flash out of that one, so not gonna flash in a straight line and end up getting hit by the arrow, so good. Chiefs are good.
Now I'm just looking at that build from Fury, because actually he was rocking the Ghostblade Ash in the Kesper Cup. It was a build I actually talked to their coach Last Boy about, basically just saying that Fury really likes the one item power spike that an item like Ghostblade brings. Looks like it might be that case. Could still be Essence Reaver that, for example, Prey was favoring back at Worlds, but be on the outlook for a serrated Dirk into the Ghostblade on the side of Fury. And just, Longzhu is such a curious team. It's not just items like Ghostblade from their AD carry. This team, my favorite stat for Longzhu, we might have to get to it in a second, is EGM and Raze.
Yeah, they will actually get the blue buff though. EGM able to take that one away with the Tongue Lash.
But here's a statistic. Longzhu in summer, in terms of gold difference at 15, and one of the best signs of early game, were number 2 in LCK. Take a guess as to who was number 1.
Was it SK Telecom?
It was neither SKT nor Rox. Longzhu had a better first 15 minutes than Longzhu, than the Rox Tigers and SKT. They were only marginally behind KT Rolster at second, despite the fact that they finished 8th. They only confirmed that they would not be playing relegations a week before the end of the season, yet their early game, these are mechanically talented players.
Yeah. They dodged that bullet with the relegation. It was almost there, but luckily for them, they didn't make it into that.
That's kind of the thing for this team, though, is that they took players that were the crown jewel of their previous teams. Chaser, he was Jin Air's only hope. GBM at the end of the season leveled up in 2015, but Chaser was probably the best jungler in Korea. Went to Longzhu, he struggled. Coco, second best mid laner in Korea in 2015, struggled not even at this event, not on the active roster as far as we know. Fury, Samsung's best player in a down year for Samsung, it must be mentioned. This team has the star power. They have the mechanics. We just always have to kind of check ourselves at 20 to 25 minutes and see if they can actually take the next step forward in the game.
Well, looks like we have our tech problem taken care of. We're going to go ahead and get right back into this game. But yeah, now at the 10-minute mark, so 5 more minutes for Longzhu to try to put some gold on the board and live up to that differential stat. This hasn't been working out so far, and Chiefs have just been making all the right moves around the map, but it still has not netted them much of a gold lead at all.
And if we do see a change, we have to wonder how much we can attribute to Chaser. He is a shot caller. Theoretically, he could have done a Bengi and been next to his coaches during this long spread of time that he didn't play and just pick up some more out-of-game things, because Longzhu so often looked just completely all at sea in the late game. They were so far ahead of Jin Air in the decisive third game that decided who went.
Oh boy, down bot, Fury gets exhausted, it's gonna have to flash away, throws out the Ash Arrow onto Spooks. Won't get devoured just for good measure by EGM, and looks like that gank's not gonna come out, but they did get the flash away from the Ash.
But just long story short, there's no gold lead that's enough as
Oh
Swiffer.
boy, Chaser coming around Swiffer, trying to equalize the kill here onto Frozen, who's juking out the Chaos Storm, coming through. Chaser gonna finish him up with that Dragon's Rage. EGM
doesn't have W.
Maybe arriving a little bit too late. No, Chaser, he's gonna go back in on that Resonating Strike. Not able to find the kill. Frozen pushing back forward, Expression coming in as well. Can they find anything? The stun comes in, Expression locks him up, gets the kill, and now is chasing deep in underneath the tower. Repel coming through, Expression taking up the turret's gonna have to snap back with the ultimate. Pure flashing forward, misses the Q, and he's gonna go down to the turret. Spooks walks away with a kill, but looks like he is dead to rights as Chaser goes in. There it is, finishes him off. That's gonna be 2 picked up for Longzhu, but they do lose Pure at the end, but that's gonna be first turret going down in favor of Longzhu Gaming.
Just a massive bounty for Longzhu, and the timing could not have been better. It's not just the rotation from Fury and Pure to mid. Consider that Swiper teleported back to top lane just for a bit of lane pressure against the Echo. Expression had teleport up, really nice teleport into the mid lane. A complete bevy of advantages picked up, and Raze, he can be optimistic and look for a turret dive, but it's not to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have that true shot barrage up, so not going to be able to close out that kill on Fury. He'll be able to limp his way back in underneath the tower. He is sticking around, but he's standing on top of that ward, so Fury knows better. Here comes the Mantra Q, taking a chunk off of him. He will get tethered, but it's going to have that arcane shift to get back over the wall, so Raze will be fine in the end. But Longzhu really blowing up this game. Just a matter of seconds there, finding that turret. They did lose the one in the top lane, as Swiper was able to take that down, but still, they will finally net themselves a bit of a gold lead, 1.3 thousand here in their favor.
It was just a sort of multi-step rotation from Longzhu that we don't see frequently from this team. Understand that they have teleport advantage, that they have the Ash Arrow to launch from Fury on a roam. It was really clean stuff from Longzhu, and to get the first brick, that first turret gold in mid lane, even with the answering turret, Echo is one of the best champions to overextend in a long lane, so safe with his dashes, his ultimate to reset aggro, so they're not worried about giving up the top turret. And comparatively, Raze anchored to bot lane, just on the Ezreal, getting pushed in. Poppy rotating as well. We're going to see the long exchange. Consider, remember, no teleport from Poppy. So this opens up as a gank, and you think, okay, this is going to be pretty close. Chaser had used his W, and you were concerned, but he decides to go in as Expression comes in again. Fury's there to rotate as well. Poppy and Ezreal, they're farming. And Longzhu, they stack advantages from a really nice map play.
Yeah, really well done there by Chaser, so using that superior pathing to get in behind, and really you can't blame Swiffer for much. There was not a whole lot he could do in that context. Tried to get that kill in on the Frozen, but just wasn't meant to be. You can see Spooks coming down for yet another gank into this bottom lane. That's going to be the Abyssal Voyage coming in as Jim. Just going to get a lot of damage. Pure as well, getting blown up, trying to kite back, especially gets a shield from the W. Now Frozen arriving, throws out the Death Ray, won't be able to find much damage yet. Swiffer holding the command Shockwave, will suck Frozen back in. But it's not going to be able to do enough to pick up a kill.
And you can just see Swiper has a hair's breadth of cooldown left for his teleport just up now as I speak, so it couldn't have been the 5-man stack that would have been kills for Chiefs. So nice timing, whether it was intentional or inadvertently, subverts there being the 5 men from Chiefs, and no kills on the board.
Yep, that's just the Ghost picked up here, or used rather by Frozen, the heal from Fury, but they got the flash away from EGM, as well as the heal from Raze, and the flash from Spook. So all in all, still a solid pickup there for Longzhu in the exchange of cooldowns. So they'll be still sitting at that 1.4 thousand gold lead. See where they're going to move next to try to stretch that. Ocean Drake, of course, has been our first dragon. We have not seen that attacked yet, as we are about to be 15 minutes into this game there. So here we are. We'll see how long it's going to sit on the board before these guys decide to take it.
Just to once again reference that Longzhu comp that, again, lost in the 3rd game against Jinna, that confirmed their attendance at this event. They had 2 pieces of this comp. They had both the Ashe and the Echo. Expression had a massive lead. Trinity Force into full tank. A lot of great split pushing. But what was missing was how to win the game with a massive split push advantage. And you can see how this game's going to go. Poppy's going to want to teleport in with the big engage, and Expression is going to want to take turrets. The missing piece of the puzzle for Longzhu was vision and decision-making in the late game. Now that we have Chaser, we have a new variable. Let's see if Longzhu can really level up their offensive vision and also their split pushing, because that's what they need in the late game. The early game, it's pretty much gone to plan. 1,200 gold, certainly not a cataclysmic lead, but it's a nice spot for Longzhu.
Yeah, and we can see that Ocean Drake was picked up by Longzhu. So they'll have that one coming through. Didn't quite catch what the next one is going to be. Take a look there. It's going to be a Cloud Drake coming up next.
No Infernal, sadly, to give that late game insurance.
I mean, you never know. That could be an Infernal waiting after the Cloud Drake, Papa Smithy. You never know. Just
the hidden Infernal is the deadliest.
That it is. Well, the question is, who is it deadly for? Is it going to be for the Chiefs or for Longzhu? You can see that flash away by Frozen will avoid that command Shockwave. Certainly would have been him dead with Spooks and EGM on the arrival.
But it was a really low percentage move from Swiffer. I like the aggression. He's known to play the Zed in past metas, but flash, command, attack, ult, Honestly, at some point, you have to do a zillion impersonation, shield yourself, and flash ult as Ori, because there's so much time between flash, moving the ball, and ulting. There's even that, 0.5 second animation on the shockwave. It's just not going to be the percentage play. So even though they trade flashes, to me, that's a lot more significant for an Orianna to be down flash than a Victor that has so many speed ups with the Q.
Sure. Oh, here we go. Underneath the tower. That's going to be the Ash Arrow coming out. Fury did catch Spooks, but EGM there for the Devour. Not going to be able to follow up and try to find anything really. They got a couple shots in under that tier 2. Take a decent little chunk off of it, but Longzhu intelligently just going to go ahead, back off, go back to their lanes, keep farming up.
The big takeaway to me, the big difference between these two teams, the score is pretty close, the gold lead pretty close. Expression, massive use of his teleport. Swiper did not find a position to teleport in that time when Expression didn't have teleport. Now the teleport's there to match.
Oh boy. It's a big roam down to the bottom.
Expression's coming in, he's actually at the red
coming
bar.
around the back. They're going to take the Abyssal Voyage out though. EGM and Ray's just going to go ahead, sacrifice this turret to the Longzhu gods. They will be able to burn that one down. Expression going to find EGM in the jungle. Not going to make his presence known quite yet. Looks like he might just go ahead, recall, go back, and stop that double push that's coming in from Swiper and Spooks in the top lane.
It's not a great trade for Longzhu. If they're trading an inner turret for an hour, it's not wonderful. And Frozen as well.
Yeah, Frozen, the command shockwave comes out. He's going to take a huge chunk off of his HP, get some damage back in onto Swiper. He's trying to kite down to his team, but just won't be able to do it. That's going to be the Chiefs picking up their 5th kill of the game. As Frozen goes down, looks like Expression does arrive in time to keep that turret alive, and now Ray's finding Fury very low. The turret goes down, the Mystic shot. He can just arcane shift into his face. Chaser's coming down. Can he arrive in time? Looks like he will, and now Ray's is cut off. He's gonna jump forward, Mystic shot's not there. Kick comes through, and Fury will finish him off with an auto attack in midair.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Longzhu had the cavalry coming in, but Fury was solo, sucked him in, not using the heal early, and pulled it off. Ray's actually dies with heal, which is awkward on his side, so flash for heal, the trade of summoners, as Crystal Arrow just goes to the nether region.
It's just cruising by. I just wanted to say hello for the moment. Blue buff will be coming in now for Swiffer. Longzhu yet again. Gold lead not really stretching in their favor. It's still going to be sitting around that 1,500 point. So the later this game goes, unless that gold lead really drastically grows for them, they're going to be in a pretty even spot against the Chiefs.
I mean, look, the analyst, the OP analyst we had in Frostcroom was very reasonable. She wanted an even game, and we've had it for the first 18 minutes. There's no big seismic differences between the two, and there's no guarantee that Expression or Longzhu in the late game can pull this out, as they've been so notably a team that has struggled to propel themselves into good late game decision making.
Yeah, and you can see that damage coming out onto Expression. Not really been building for the tanky Echo, just has those Merc Treads and a little bit of HP from the Doran's Ring and the Trinity Force, but otherwise he's been going for damage, much like Spooks, who went straight for those Sorcerer's Boots. So, Expression not really going to be that tanky frontliner that you want out of your Echo quite yet. We'll see which way he wants to go with his build. Right now doesn't have any components coming through, except for if he wanted to go for a Mejai's, but I kind of doubt that we'll see the Soul Stealer coming out on him, as he just has those 3 stacks so far. Now Frozen gonna have to kite back down the river. The command shockwave nicely dodged out, but he's gonna get pinned into the wall and just take a huge burst of damage. He gets deleted. EGM unfortunately picking up the kill for the Chiefs, but they put another one on the board.
Yeah, Swiper should be commended there. Actually flashed instantly. Very short range flash, but enough to stop there being any animations to be considered. I mean, Frozen didn't have summoners, so you could argue that maybe it wasn't necessary, but it's a sort of assertive play that Swiper would need to make. Again, in the late game, it's gonna be, can Poppy's teleports get enough done in team fights?
Oh boy, the Abyssal Voyage coming up to the top side. Expression in a bad spot, has to snap back.
He's fast,
goes straight in on to that Ezreal. Spooks is on the chase, but not in range for the Cocoon. Looks like Expression might be able to hightail his way out, but he's got Swiffer coming up the river. He might be completely cut off, and it looks like he is. Swiffer getting some damage in. Where's Expression going to go? Just trying to make it into the weapon. He loads up here, but the shield is not going to be enough. Swiffer picks up yet another kill, now 7-5. For the Chiefs, still down in gold, but it's only 600.
It's a lot of work for a single kill. If it's enough to get the Poppy, the turret in the bot lane, maybe it's worth it. We saw INTZ pick up stray kills, but not turn it into objectives. So I like the fact the Chiefs, they realize with one man down, they can push up their vision. They have a really aggressive pink here that won't be swept for a while in the brush next to the Krugs. And Swiper just bashing away at that out of the bot lane turret.
Yeah, and Chiefs, it just seems like their global pressure has been turned up to the max at the moment. That tier 2 top tower almost going down. Now this bottom tier 1, just need that mid tier 1, and then they really break open the map and can pressure around this dragon and this Baron, as we're now at 21 minutes.
The Baron, I think, will be the big story because the first Drake was taken so late, and it being an Ocean, it hasn't been a big contesting factor in this game. The next one does spawn in 8 seconds, and it looks like the Chiefs, at least, are in formation around it faster. Longzhu still don't have that aggressive vision. They still don't have deep vision on the enemy side because the game's been pretty even, but they're just going to take a gimme turret. They're going to take the outer top lane turret. No one's very interested in defending that. At this point in the game, okay, it's only a Cloud Drake, but Chiefs are at least trading objectives, not allowing Longzhu to trade up.
Yep, looks like it will be another Ocean coming through. So Longzhu, they'll be able to take that tier 1 tower. So still making some proactive steps to keep themselves ahead in this game, albeit very slightly. So with an Ocean Drake coming in, if Longzhu could get that second one, that'd be some pretty serious sustain and, out of combat sustain for them. We'll see if Chiefs are going to be able to put that one on the board when we come back to that in about 5.5 minutes. But for now, just going to be a bit of a slow pace as Longzhu just try to collect themselves, not do anything too rash, and lose this very slight lead that they've established for themselves.
Spook's taking some inspiration from Peanut with the second item, Proto Belt. This does require them to have map pressure and map vision advantage, though. You do have a pink water brush, walk up, get cocooned, massive burst damage from the Elise, but now it's just a solo tank lineup with Poppy in the front lane. Front line even, but...
I was going to say, which one is the front lane?
Well, we're not in the fast lane. We're definitely in very much the middle lane when it comes to, maybe it's the...
It's about what we're used to when it comes to Longzhu.
That's fair.
Fury, though, maybe in a little bit of a bad spot. Gets tongue lashed. The Cocoon going to land on the Chaser. Takes a good burst of damage here as Raze is just firing those mystic shots from over the wall. But with Pure and Chaser nearby, it looks like he might be safe. He's going to get that ward hop over into the red pit.
Mana.
That's going to be the shockwave. Nice flash away by Fury. And Chaser's going to have to flash away as well, just trying to get away from EGM. Nice pressure coming out from Chiefs, and all they had to do was use the Abyssal Voyage.
Yeah, and that's with Echo split pushing. So Chiefs good to turn on the Afterburners. They want to try and get objectives. Very difficult to take out the mid lane turret because Victor's there for wave clear. They can't find a turret top either. So let's see if they can get advantage of those cooldowns as Frozen meets Spooks.
Oh yeah, Spooks going low. Goes up with a repel. Is going to come down on the other side. Might juke him out. No, he's not going to. Frozen going to flash away from that. Fearing some follow-up. Now, back in the top lane, EGM getting slowed up by that constant onslaught of arrows from the Ashe.
Don't know where to go.
Ray's in a bad spot, slowed up. He is just dead to rights. Jumps forward, trying to get some damage. Maybe a kill on a Fury, but it's just not going to happen. Expression picks up another kill. That's 3 more on the board, rather, for Longzhu. They're going to be looking for this Baron in just 24 minutes.
This hasn't been the Longzhu we've seen before. I really like the proactive play. I thought Longzhu would be on the defensive because they just used 2 flashes. But so many people caught one by one. First, it's Spooks getting caught by the mid laner. Then the rest of the team, because Spooks is dead, are overextended just by virtue of sheer numbers. Great from Longzhu to collapse. They pick up kills. They take the Baron. And now there's certainly a lot for Chiefs to have to weather. And they don't even pick up a blue buff as Chaser steals that as well.
Yeah, that's got to hurt. Didn't even have to use the smite. Just kills it off with that resonating strike. Meanwhile, Swiper, he's going to do what he can. Looks like he'll pick up that tier 1 in the bottom side, but we'll take another look at this. Spooks just overconfident going in on the Frozen.
And look, he takes a lot of burst damage. Remember, he's gone the DPS build with the Protobout. He dies, and now everyone from Chiefs is overextended. Once again, it's an expression teleport. He had a ward on the enemy blue buff, comes in. Everyone here is going to die one by one. 3 deaths from the Chiefs. Notably, you look down the bot lane, you got to say, no way for Swiper to find a spot to teleport. Even with all these wards, there either wasn't a call or there was a call to stay. And the punishment for 2 teleport plays where Swiper has held on to that cooldown has been immense from Longzhu. You're always going to take teleport on Poppy, but if you don't use it, and Expression can make plays around the map in the duration before his teleport comes back up, question marks for Swiper and how he's integrating with the rest of the team.
Now, I have to get your opinion on this one. When you see the Trinity Force built by Raze, he's had it for quite some time. Do you think that the Trinity Force in this context is better than having the Iceborne Gauntlet? Because there's a lot of chase potential from the side of Longzhu. You have the phase dive from the Echo, the Lee Sin, of course, with this gap closer, the speed boost that Frozen gets from his Q. I feel like you might want to have something that can at least slow Longzhu so you can keep some distance between you and them.
It's such a minute slow, both in duration and amount, that when you're talking about Expression, who has trivially 500 move speed with Trinity Force and also the passive, when you're talking about Lee Sin with his dashes, I don't think it's enough, and they just wanted mid-game damage to come into the game. So I can understand if Iceborne Gauntlet was picked, but I won't point to that item and say it's made a seismic difference in the game.
Understood. Well, now Longzhu, they're just putting the pressure on across all lanes. You have Expression splitting in the bottom. Swiper there to match him. Looks like they'll be trading back pretty evenly. He's just going to rotate up towards this mid. They might just put their full attention as this tier 2. It's already low, and it will be finished off by these Baron-empowered minions. LYON keeping up the pressure where they can, making use of that Baron buff. We'll see if they can get much more before it expires. Still have a decent amount of time. It's almost 3/4 of the way done. We'll see now as you see Fury and Pure hovering around this top side. Ray's the only one there to match them so far. Could be bad. Abyssal Voyage coming into the back. It's going to be this beat up coming through. Fury not going to get caught by the cocoon. Spook's already coming out of that one really low. Fury gets caught though, takes a huge burst of damage. The command shot by King, and he's still alive. The shields from Pure are keeping him up this entire time. It's going to be the Sonic Wave landing. Chaser, does he want to follow through? Will get stunned up, stunned into the wall by Swiper, but he's going to be able to dash back. That True Shot Barrage not doing a whole lot of damage to the members of LYON. And now Expression coming in on the backside, looking for Spooks who will flash away. That's going to be the snapback from the Echo, keeping himself safe. And it's another tier 2 turret is going to fall in favor of LYON Gaming. Just that bottom one standing now. They have their eyes set on these inhibitors. EGM coming up in 4 seconds, 15 on Swiffer. Can Chiefs hold on to this turret? Looks like Swiper's doing his damnedest. Make sure that it still stands. He's going to take a good chunk of damage, but otherwise is safe. And LYON, with Fury being as low as he is, they're going to have to peel back.
Chiefs chose to make an aggressive move against the Baron buffed up LYON, had a minion wave, but it didn't feel like all 5 were on the same page again. They got in there, they took down Fury. He fell so low, but they didn't force a flash. Fury lived with the Karma shields on the back end, and life stealed up, and you have to wonder if it was just, once again, was it a 5-man, clear mind engage from Chiefs? Because they executed well, it looked assertive, but they couldn't finally pull the trigger. Was it the gold lead? Was it a split call? Either way, LYON grow their gold lead from the last attempted engage by Chiefs.
Yeah. And you would never really think at this point of the game with the Orianna having the death cap completed, having those Sorcerer's Boots, not being able to blow up an Ashe, but the Pure, the shields from Pure were just so massive. They kept him alive throughout that entire exchange. Chaser, of course, as well there with his W to contribute, but it's pretty damning. Oh, last hit will come through right before the True Shot Barrage cruises by, so the steal on the Ocean Drake not going to occur, and LYON will pick up their second.
The temptation here is to be like, all right, LYON finally got the big enough lead. They've looked smart. They've got this in the bag, but we've made that mistake, you and I, Achilles, plenty of times talking about LYON. They've looked better in terms of cutting between lanes. You know, they've got all the outer turrets, but it gets a lot harder when you're looking to take inhibitor turrets, when you're looking to actually break the base. So until that point comes, when multiple inhibitors are down, there's always room for Chiefs to pull out this game, have a 6-item Orianna and Ezreal team fighting, and then it's all up in the air.
Yeah, you never know really what's going to happen when it comes to just generally closing out the game with LYON. I mean, we've seen some 76-minute long games with them when they had the lead early, so I won't hold my breath on them closing this one out in the next 10 minutes quite yet.
I mean, holding your breath for LYON in the late game, I think there's a side effect of death there. It can be very fatal if you're holding your breath for them to close out games. They're just not strong at it.
I'm just going to break David Blaine's record. Pure, though, he is broken for sure. That's going to be Spooks and Swiffer picking up a very fast kill as he just gets completely annihilated by that command shockwave. So just a little bit too deep there, Pure. Trying to get some ward coverage.
And while that pick looks trivial because they're not going to get any big objectives, the Spook's really nice mechanics there to dodge with the change in form into the E. Very nice there from Spooks, but a single pick relieves pressure, gives them time. Although
Swiper, he's going to wind up the Poppycopter, does it? Eject Expression and Chaser. So it looks like he's going to stay alive to fight another day. Takes a good chunk of his HP out, though. And now see them hovering around, getting a vision of this Baron that's going to be respawning in about a minute. LYON definitely want to get their hands on that. They made good use of that buff the first time around. See what they can do if they can get their hands on it a second time.
Their vision's definitely going to be delayed, though. They're going to have to wait and see. They haven't had Karma alive to be able to get the deep vision down to really make any moves after Karma died, so didn't get the picks there against LYON. Chiefs just clearing, trying to keep their pink ward line as strong as possible. Baron respawns in 30 seconds. A second Baron, that would really be the tool to perhaps allow LYON to finally break the base of the Chiefs.
We'll see. As time goes on, Swiffer is just going to get scarier and scarier. Has that Void Staff completed. Still holding on to 2 Doran's rings. So who knows what he's got waiting for us. Currently only has about 500 gold, so won't be having something on the way for a little bit longer. Needs to farm up as these waves are crashing in. But, I mean, since the laning phase has ended, he has been able to stretch a very slight lead over top of Frozen.
And the big gold leads are in top and at the AD carry position. Fury's certainly rocking quite a few items himself. tank fight, not going to be too exciting in the bot lane, but again, it's a wrestling of vision around the Baron. The Baron is the big objective that Longzhu want to take, and if they get deep vision down, they can turn with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from Ashe, get a pick, and get a free Baron. So very difficult, very intricate here for the Chiefs to stop Baron going to Longzhu.
But it might not just be all black and white like that for Longzhu. They have this Orianna on the Chiefs coming through. If you're fighting in that Baron pit, one command Shockwave could absolutely decimate your roster. So they have to be careful themselves, make sure that they have the adequate vision to know when the Chiefs are coming in.
Deep vision, so important. Orianna realistically will have to enter the Baron pit, get in vision behind a tank line, otherwise she will eat the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and go down. So it's a lot about ordering. Longzhu haven't been strong on that edge. They have double pink around Baron. They want the Baron now. But if they seat these pinks, they're giving a lot of control back to Longzhu.
Yeah, they're not going to stick around and try to defend them. They're going to come now into the mid lane. Nice cleanse off there by Fury with the Quicksilver Sash to keep himself alive, but EGM is hot on his heels. Gonna be the flash over the wall now, Expression. A little bit far forward, Swiffer coming over the wall. And there it is, enough damage to take down the Ashe. Fury is going to fall. Another kill picked up for the Orianna. Had to use both summoner spells in order to get it, but still gonna be a nice trade. Spooks goes down. Expression gonna find the answering kill to avenge his AD carry. Frozen getting pinned in, takes a hell of a lot of damage. Swiffer trying to finish him off. Meanwhile, that's gonna be Swiffer falling as Expression is just continually putting out the pain. A triple kill coming through for the Echo. Now just Raze and Swiper, the last two members alive. Swiper trying to find an answering kill onto the Victor, won't be able to do so. He has that Guardian Angel still. He can play a little bit cocky, but it looks like he's going to try to get out of here. Hold on to that cooldown if he can, but Pure should be able to pop the GA. Actually, maybe not. Might just have to give up on that one, but Raze has gone down. Actually, Swiper, yeah, he's just chasing around. Doesn't have anywhere to go. Has the TP up, but there's no way he's going to get that cast off.
Really want to take the Guardian Angel down. That's the real big objective here. The kill also would be a very disconnected Chiefs when it comes to respawns, but Longzhu are wasting time. Remember, they could have started Baron, or at least tried to take it down. They should eventually take down Swiper, you'd think.
Fury just trying to contribute as best as he can.
Late game poppies, man.
Yep. It's tough, man. You see, though, with Frozen there and healthy, he will be able to burst down the Poppy. Now, with 50 seconds on Swiper, do they go straight for this Baron? Every other member of Chiefs is alive.
So because Swiper is the only one man down, he is the one member when he's down for Chiefs that it makes it very hard for them to contest Baron. Because remember, Spooks has gone DPS. EGM is a support Tom Kench. Very hard to face check into this Longzhu lineup. Baron's low.
Oh, he gets the steal. It's going to be Spooks coming up with the smite, taking it away from Longzhu. Longzhu will be able to answer back, getting that kill in onto the Elise, but what a takeaway from Spooks. Throwing the Hail Mary play, and he comes up big.
Longzhu did it all right, except for respecting the smite steal from Spooks. Didn't even have flash, had to taxi with the E, but got the steal. And now all of Longzhu's good work, their decision to wait to kill the Poppy, has come back to haunt them as it allowed the enemy jungler to get in range.
This feels all too familiar. Papa Smithy. Chaser just not able to confirm that one.
The third Ocean, the second Ocean Drake is certainly no...
it's a
consolation prize.
It's a great consolation prize. It's the best one.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Well, Spooks, the hero of Australia right now, coming up huge with that one. We'll take another look at this steal. You can see him jumping for the Proto Belt straight into... Oh my god.
Proto Belt repel, casual walking in, 1v5 steal from Spooks. Sort of stuff that dreams are made of. He'll be kicking himself or picking at himself after the game, but it's bought time for the Chiefs. We still do say that Ezreal Orianna can be very powerful at 6-item territory, but the one we have to look for on the side, the MVP for Longzhu by far has been Expression. Has done a massive job. Consider the difference in scoreline. There's been 10 kills this game for the Chiefs. Poppy is 0-1-1. Hasn't teleported in, has Swiper. Hasn't been a great impact. We looked to Expression to control Orianna, took her out in the last fight, took out both carries. Expression is a monster.
You know, it's really moments like that that I wish we had the team flares, so Spooks could have just thrown up the flare in his dying breath. It's a big insult to Longzhu, but
sadly there were no Chief flares.
Yep. no
Longzhu flares either, sadly.
That's very true. But Longzhu now going to be on the back foot, trying to fight their way forward. Chaser's coming around the back, has that Guardian Angel. He's going to come in, kick Swiffer, and takes a whole lot of damage. The Devourer is there from EGM to keep him alive, at least momentarily. EGM will fall now. Expression going into the back line, trying to disrupt as best he can. Has to snap back. The man Frozen gets caught. He's gonna go down. Spooks finds the kill. Now Expression going low. Has the GA, but Pure is able to finish off Swiper with that Mantra Q. So Longzhu and Chiefs just gonna be trading back and forth. It's a 2-for-1 at the end. But man, what a big pick for Swiffer.
And Longzhu are pushing up. Fury still doesn't have flash for about 10 seconds to Chiefs.
TP coming in. Expression interrupting the back line. Ray's gonna get caught. He's gonna try to jump over this wall, but Expression's ready with a phase dive. Follows through. Chaser's there to follow up as well. And that's gonna be the Ezreal going down.
You're seeing why Expression locked the Echo. It's a decent matchup into Poppy, but he is so comfortable on the champion. Walked up to the cove and knew that Ezreal would try to go over. Meant that he was in distance for his E to go and follow the jump from Ezreal. Really nice stuff from Expression. Ends up being overall a 2-for-2, but that was the moment. The moment here, you think, okay, Chase is going to kick Swiffer, it's all over. Into the mouth of Ejim. You're waiting for the ball to come down, but the shockwave that Chiefs turned around in this fight was just obscene. Really big stuff there. So even though Swiffer is low on the end, can shield himself up. We thought Chiefs would turn around the fight at this point. They had really nice positioning. Longzhu moved up as a 3, but he didn't take into account the fact that Expression goes back, tops himself up to full, still has a Guardian Angel, and this man can check any brush because he is unkillable.
Yeah, and that's just the pink ward control that we've seen from Longzhu this entire game so far. They've constantly had at least 2 to 3 down.
It's just such clean Echo play.
There's just nothing you can do as Raze. And honestly, we can expect nothing less from Expression. This has been a major pick from him throughout spring and summer. So it's pretty much just simple math for him at this point with this Echo.
It's such a weird thing, because his most played champion in summer was Echo, but he had an obscenely low win rate, around 27% win rate, because he would get these advantages and the team would fail to translate pressure into ending the game. They still haven't done that there. It looked like Chiefs might be turning the tide of the game. We can all take a deep breath. It's still almost a 10 down. It's about 8,000 gold lead for Longzhu, and they still haven't put the W on the board. They haven't taken it down, even though Expression individually has been flawless.
I mean, not only that, but they haven't even broken the base yet of Chiefs. Granted, they have all of the outer turrets while they still have all of their tier 2s up on the side of Longzhu, but they haven't been able to take down those inhibitor turrets yet. So this, with this massive discrepancy that the Chiefs have been playing behind from, it's pretty impeccable that they've been able to hold on this long, but maybe it's also a bit of Longzhu, just not being able to close out. So that going hand in hand means that the Chiefs are still in this one, can still rely on that miracle shockwave to try to just swing this right back in their favor.
Now, it is better from Longzhu. They do have some deep wards. Warding has been a big problem for them. Looking for the pick. Do hit it onto Raze.
But Chaser's not there to follow up onto him. Ejim gonna throw out the Devour just in case, but looks like the Chiefs will be safe for now. Expression coming in from above, gets on the Swiffer, trying to try to slow him up. He takes a good chunk of damage. Will he be able to make it out? There's going to be the snapback already used by Expression. Chaos Storm ripping off chunks of HP from that Orianna. He's going to have to go back to the fountain, and now it's just these 4 members of the Chiefs trying to hold on. The wave not quite there yet for Longzhu, so they won't be able to put any pressure onto this inhibitor turret.
Just games like this, as an analyst, you look at it and you're like, imagine how good Longzhu could be if they could have a playbook coach, NFL style, in the game rather than just pre-game, because they need to bring up the minion waves. Expression has just actually gone to bot, but because they already have all outer turrets, they need minion waves crashing at the same time in 2 to 3 lanes to actually start to get even a little bit of chip damage onto inhibitor turrets. They didn't have the minion waves. They tried the brute force in mid. We're getting to 6-item territory. That brute force is not trivial from Longzhu against an Orianna shields, and thus it looks like there's action happening, but last 5 minutes, no extra advantages found by Longzhu, and we get closer and closer to 50, 60 minutes where one team fight, game's over.
Yep. And it's looking pretty good with the Wombo potential from the Chiefs. We'll see. Dragon getting ready to come up now in just about 25 seconds. Not sure how hard fought that one's going to be. Not too much going to be amplified as far as the buffs go. Just the double ocean there for Longzhu, and then that cloud for the Chiefs.
I believe it is double. Could be triple. We haven't had the update on the scoreboard just yet, but we'll go with doubles. That's what I...
Oh, yeah, it is triple. You're right.
Triple ocean. So
we did have 3 oceans spawning up. Ejim, maybe a bit too far forward, going in blind. Get the shield coming out from Swiffer. Takes a good chunk of his HP off. It's going to be down to about half. at this point. Now, again, Fury gonna open up, gets the stun onto Raze, Expression going in, gets a huge burst of damage onto Spooks, followed up by the Death Ray. He might go down, kiting out now, Chaser coming into the backside, kicks Swiffer off to the side, but no one's there to follow up. Swiper going back in, gets a stun onto Expression, but he's still a very tanky Echo. Not a whole lot's gonna happen. Longzhu, though, are just steadily chipping down the Chiefs. Egypt gonna go low, nice shockwave coming through, but it's not enough to keep the Tom Kinch alive. Swiper will fall, that's gonna be the GA getting popped. And he's gonna come back up in the middle of the team. Does he have anywhere to go? Frozen gonna go forward, finds a double kill. Can he find more? No, he's gonna get popped by the command attack from Swiffer, who's gonna try to turn this one around. Chaser going, oh, double kill somewhere. Chaser gonna do it! That's gonna be the triple kill coming through. Can he chase it? Can he find more? Swiper gets the knockup onto Expansion, who is out of mana on this Echo, but the Chiefs, they're too damn low. They have to peel back, but man, what a turnaround from there. Gonna go, what was that, 2 for 3 there in favor of the Chiefs.
You can just see the issue for Longzhu. Chaser is like, okay, I need to kick the Orianna into my team. She's the no mobility carry, but she has so much AP that the shield comes in, the angle's not ideal. You need to be peeling for Fury, because Fury is the one who's getting zerged down in much the same way as Swiffer is, but doesn't have those same shields. The Karma support's not going to be able to do as much. They need to play around Fury because he's the real late game damage carry, and also Frozen on the side. You can understand Longzhu. They have so many different people low, but when they hard engage finally about 10, 15 seconds after this, they just can't get the focus down as we have to come back to live because Chiefs are on Baron.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice clean take from them. No potential steal coming in from Longzhu. Chaser still dead, so the Chiefs will pick up the second Baron of the game here at just about the 42.5-minute mark. Now down by just about 5,000 gold. They're clawing their way back in, and the later that we go, the less that gold advantage for Longzhu is going to matter. We can see the 6 items getting ready to come out from multiple characters.
I mean, it's subtle, but what you need to take away from this as an analyst is that Longzhu are looking for 5v5 fights when they could have been playing the map. They still have a Trinity Force Echo who has had the teleport. They could have been looking to not look for a 5v5 fight against Orianna.
Oh boy.
Looks like they're looking for another one, though.
Expression going in. That's going to be the stun coming in onto Swiper from the Ash Arrow. Chaser goes in, takes a good chunk of damage, does not have that Guardian Angel up. Chaos Storm moving forward, gets a good little bit off of the Poppy. Elder Dragon now down below 4,000 HP. It's pretty much a standoff between these two teams. The Shockwave goes out. Frozen gonna take a huge chunk of damage. The True Shot Barrage coming through as well. Early Spike coming out. Spook's not gonna be able to find the Elder Dragon. It's gonna go over to Chaser. Big burst onto the Chiefs. Swiper almost going down on that Poppy, and they're gonna have to peel back off of that one. So a minor victory from Longzhu. They have that 90-second window. Well, they'll get that amplified damage and that true damage burn. But the Chiefs still have the Baron.
Yeah, because it's only a single stack, it's more of a denial. So that is still a win in a small different way for Longzhu, who's denying away. Sorry, they have the 3 buffs, so with the 3 Oceans actually is quite a lot of damage, but with no Baron, no obvious place to fight. They've already tried 5v5 fights. I don't even know if true damage burn is enough against the consistent shielding from the Orianna. So it's a nice to pick up. Chiefs were looking like they were going to be the ones to take the Elder Drake, but it doesn't really advance Longzhu, and they still, 44 minutes in, with an Echo that has been massive for a good 30 minutes, have not broken the Chiefs' space.
That they have it, and their window of opportunity for closing out this game is just getting smaller and smaller as time goes on. See Expression hovering around that top, looking to push back these Baron-empowered minions away from Swiper, but with the arrival of Raze, he's just gotta go ahead and back off. Doesn't have that Guardian Angel. It's almost 3/4 of the way off cooldown, so he'll have it relatively shortly, but still has to play safe until then.
We're getting to the late game, looking like we're going to actually match the entire series of INTZ versus Unicorns of Love in game time in just this single one. That was around 52 minutes, if I'm to remember correctly. Chiefs will keep wave clearing, and Longzhu have missed their window. They could still win the game, make a big pick, but their window was when Echo was so massive, getting those waves in the right spot, warding deep, breaking the base, forcing the Chiefs, who have such a telegraphed ultra late game 5v5 team comp, to spread out. As 5, the Chiefs have drafted an immense comp at this part in the game, but Longzhu, they had so many other options. Instead, they just didn't take them, looked for fights, started losing those fights, and now they don't really know what to do.
And this has just been the story that we've pretty much recounted time and time again in the LCK, Papa. It's just Longzhu are pretty much synonymous at long games at this point. And it's,
we've got a few teams like that. We've got Jin Air in our region, Achilles.
We do have Jin Air. But just goes to show, it doesn't matter what continent they're playing on, Longzhu will forever be the same.
I mean, if you do well in the early game, as they so consistently have, it doesn't matter if you pull it late, lose a team fight, and lose the game. You can be great at Echo, but your team is so poor at playing around pressure that the win rate doesn't match it, just because we've got to the point where Echo still does some things, but with all the shielding and now Azonias for the Orianna, doesn't do that much, the Echo.
Yeah, good luck getting the pick in onto Swiffer at this point. Longshu, though, are going to apply some pressure down this mid lane. Finally, going to be looking for this inhibitor turret. EGM going to get stunned up right away. Gets the great health shield off, but just nothing he can do. Gets stunned up immediately by the parallel convergence. He's going to go down, and almost so will that inhibitor, but looks like they're actually able to push them back just in time to keep that alive for the moment. It's going to be regenning very slowly, but Longshu, they could just charge right back in as they have another minion wave crashing in. Swiper trying to disrupt them on the backside. Swiffer going to take a hell of a lot of damage. Doesn't have that command protect in time to mitigate the damage coming through.
That was actually really smart from Longshu to back away, even though it was only 2 hits.
Oh, command shockwave. Nice little juke out by Chaser. They're going to W dash over to one of his teammates to keep himself out of that way.
But that was actually really nice play. What they did there was they saw Poppy coming in on a flank. They finally got themselves in position where Echo was body blocking the Poppy from coming in to get a 2-3-man knockup. Once they had finally forced Poppy to take the long way out back to the base, then they can push 3. Then they can take the inhibitor. That time is long enough now that you do have multiple minion waves to wait to actually finish off an objective. Nice decisive play from Longshu, and I have to guess that that's the sort of area where Chaser will make a difference over Crash, as Chaser does have a voice in late game shot call.
Looking good there. Again, good juke out by him, avoiding catastrophe. And finally, we get an inhibitor down at just around the 47-minute mark, but there's still 2 more that Longshu might need to take, as well as those last standing Nexus turrets. So still a ways away from finding a victory here, and we might just have our 3rd Baron getting ready to spawn now in about 1 minute and 40 seconds. And whoever that goes over to really could spell victory for them. Ash Arrow coming out, not going to find Swiffer. He's able to juke out using that move speed from the command attack. Get himself out of range. Kick in there. Nice kick flash. He's going to flash over the wall into the Raptor pit, but it does not matter. He's going to go down. Shutdown coming through from Frozen. Repel up into the air by Spooks. Doesn't have a whole lot of ways to go. Looks like he might be going down to the backside. Meanwhile, Egypt just trying to crawl his way back into the base. Not going to be able to do so. Spooks blows the flash. He knows he's pretty much dead to right. So Guardian Angel going to get popped. Longshu, yep, they're just going to go ahead, push right down this mid with these super creeps, and they're going to finish this one out in just under 50 minutes.
What a re-entry for Chaser. The delayed second Q into Kick Flash on Orianna. This time they had the damage to DPS down the Ori. Dies with Zonias available. Wasn't expecting the Kick Flash. And this is going to be a valiant defense by the Chiefs. A really good 48-minute game. But eventually, it's going to go to Longshu.
Yep, Spooks doing what he can. Has that Guardian Angel coming back up, but that's all she wrote for the Chiefs here in Game 1. Longshu will be able to close it out. Hard fought by both sides. But now we have to look forward to Game 2 coming up here, Papa Smithy. It was definitely shaky for Longshu. Had a lead from the start. Almost gave Chiefs a way back into that one multiple times throughout.
And a really valiant defense by the Chiefs. Longshu finally at the 4th attempt, the Kick Flash worked onto Swiffer. They took out the game, but they came back in so many fights. Their late game team fighting comp actually looked like a smart draft, just because Longshu have struggled to close out games. I thought maybe they'd stick the landing, but they finally did it here. Longshu at the 5th or 6th attempt in the late game. That one pick, killing that Orianna, killed the game for the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. You just needed that one kick from Chaser. Matt, kind of botched a few of the other ones throughout the game. That sideways one definitely not exactly what he wanted, but in the end, Longshu are able to clinch it out. But they still have one more win that they need to net if they want to win this best-of-3 series. The Chiefs get another opportunity to bounce back. We're going to throw over to our Xfinity analyst desk, though, to get their thoughts on that first game.